So for short crust pastry, we are going to rub the fat into the flour using our fingertips to make breadcrumbs. So you need to pick up the flour, coat it into the butter, and then just rub it through your thumb and your fingers. Don't clump it together in your hands, you just want to use your fingertips until it comes to breadcrumbs. Okay, so we're going to add a small amount of cold water now into our pastry. You need to be really careful when you're adding the cold water because we don't want to add too much. And using a palette knife, we're just going to bring it together until it comes into the dough. If you add too much, you'll have to add more flour back in. So it is really important at this stage to take your time until you get it to go into the dough. A bit more. And then once it's almost there, you can get your hands in and bring it together into a dough. Okay. So what we need to do now is we need to roll out our pastry. We've got flour on the worktop and we're going to flour the rolling pin. So we're going to roll, roll and turn. Roll, roll and turn. If it comes a bit sticky, you can add a bit more flour. Okay, so what we're now going to do is we're going to trim up the edges of your pastry. We just want to take the very edges off and we want to make one big square. Don't worry about the spare bits of pastry because we can re-roll those and make them into another pasty at the end. Watch your fingers when you're cutting. So once we've got roughly our square, we're then going to cut that into 4. So we've got our 4 squares that we can use for our filling. So with the egg, we're just going to beat it lightly. And we're going to use the egg in 2 different ways. One, to help us, like a glue, to help us stick the edges of the pastry together. And the other way is on the top as a glaze to give us some colour when it goes in the oven. So we're now with our filling. We're going to place some of the cheese in the middle of your triangles. Try and leave an edge, if you can, around the outside because that will help when it comes to seal your parcels. And then we're going to put some onion on the top as well. You need to be careful not to overfill your parcels. Take your egg and we're going to brush around the outside, around the edges. And then we can very carefully fold over the pastry, pushing the filling back in if we need to create our triangle. Don't worry if you don't get a perfect triangle. And then using a fork, we can go round and we can crimp the edges. Like so. Okay. So we're just going to finish off by glazing our triangles with the egg wash. This will give it a lovely golden brown when it goes into the oven. So try not to get it too much onto the greasy paper, but just try and cover all aspects of your pasty.